we're back in the kitchen with Cooking Wiser with Terri Geiser. And I am now getting ready to prepare my Cornish hen, and this will be a fabulous Valentine's Day dinner for later tonight. And what we do is I've cooked basmati rice, and a little tip about cooking rice. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, so to add flavor, I always cook my rice in chicken broth. And I saute the rice with a little bit of olive oil, and then I put the rice, once it starts to release the fragrance and you can smell that kind of nutty flavor, you add in your chicken broth, and then you cook your rice like you normally would. Now to the rice, I'm going to add about a half a cup of craisins, dried cranberries, and about a third of a cup of toasted almond slices. And the rice is done, and I've already pulled that off, and we're stirring in our craisins and our almonds. Now remember, this is a Valentine's Day dinner, so we're trying to go with that little red heart theme. And I season it with a little bit of kosher salt. I always use kosher salt because it has more flavor for less. You use less salt, and you eliminate the iodine, and a little bit of pepper. Now to prepare the Cornish hen. Cornish hens generally weigh about 1 to 2 pounds, and there's really no magic to a Cornish hen. They're just small chickens. But the important little tip here is to pat the top dry, and that will help you get a really nice golden crust. And then we're going to just take about a tablespoon of butter. We won't use it all, but we'll just butter the top, and that will help add that golden color to our Cornish hen. And we'll just kind of rub that butter lightly over the top. And now we're going to stuff the bird with our rice and craisins and almonds. And you don't want to pack this in too tight. Allow a little air to circulate, just like you would if you were stuffing a Thanksgiving turkey. It's just a smaller version, and it's meant for 2. You can do 2 Cornish hens, and each person can have their own varied Cornish hen for dinner. But I think in my family, we'll split our Cornish hen, and we'll have Cornish hen for 2. All right, so now we want to season with just a little bit of kosher salt again, fresh cracked black pepper, and now we're going to glaze our Cornish hen with our raspberry sauce, which has been cooking over here for about the last 15 minutes. It's simply raspberry preserves, and then you add just a little bit, about a teaspoon of Grand Marnier, and then to that we'll add about a half a cup of chicken broth. And then we cook that until it's thickened to a nice sauce, which we will use to glaze our hen. Now, we'll have to come back and periodically glaze the top of this bird as it cooks, but that's all right. Maybe 2 or 3 times. We'll pull it out of the oven and brush it with a little bit of the raspberry glaze. And you want some of the pieces of raspberry. That's what gives it so much texture and makes it look so pretty. All right, and we'll glaze this again in about 10-15 minutes. I've preheated the oven to 400. We're going to pop Mr. Bird into the oven, and we'll come back in about 15 minutes to add more glaze. We have our Valentine's Day dinner ready, and we have our jicama and pineapple salad. We have our raspberry glazed Cornish hens with almond and creme raisin stuffed rice, and we have our broccoli with cheese sauce. So we're ready for our dinner, and I've paired this with a Chardonnay, and I think that will be a really nice pairing. It's a crisp wine, and it should complement the flavors in the chicken as well as the cheese sauce on the broccoli. And so all we need now is to sit down and have dinner. Dining Wiser with Terri Geiser.